Hey, welcome to Riding Shotgun. Nice day, about 40 degrees, sunny. Alfie's along running with us, and not muddy or anything. Good deal. NCAA Tournament week. Sunday was Selection Sunday. Man, it's still an empty feeling when Selection Sunday rolls around. I was telling somebody the other day that I remember it doesn't seem that long ago when I'd watch that pairing show and I'd watch the brackets and I'd have my laptop here with I'd usually make like 4 or 5 room reservations at various sites depending on where I thought it might be, and then after they came out I'd cancel the ones that I wasn't going to use, and I'd have at the ready, my first pick for where we were going to go if I had to book air flights, or a flight or something, and was all geared up and ready for that, trying to digest the meaning of the bracket and at the same time do travel arrangements. And the last time we did this, I think we went down to Austin, right, when Illinois played Miami down there. Who'd they play? Colorado, and then Miami down there, and just, I don't know. But at any rate, the bracket came out, and I don't know who you like. I like the 2 Vs. I do like Virginia. I've never liked Virginia, and this season I do. I think they've got more offense, more shooting, more ability to score, and I think they play. I'm kind of looking for teams that don't play clunkers and don't get beat by teams they shouldn't lose to very often. And just watching Alfie tear across the field. What does she see? And Virginia's one of those teams, and the other's Villanova. And those 2 teams play to me the most consistently. There's a lot of good teams. Kansas is a good team. Bill's got a good group, but every once in a while they throw one out there that you go, whoa, where did that come from? North Carolina the same, Michigan State the same, Purdue the same. So any one of those teams could maybe win it. I'm hoping Michigan goes some distance. I like Michigan. I love the way they played in the Big Ten tournament. I thought they just schooled Purdue, which I think most people thought probably had more talent. So I'll be rooting for that. And then in the meantime, we've had some interesting developments. We still have this kind of fluid period for the Illinois basketball roster, but the commitment from Samba Kane was welcome. A 7-footer that, from all the film I've looked at of him, I'm sure you guys have looked at some too, I think he looks better than advertised. I clearly he needs strength. We get that, and that will come. But I think the general prognosis on him is further ahead defensively than offensively, and I agree with that. Illinois needs a rim protector. They need somebody to discourage teams from coming right into the basket. He should at least physically give them a presence like that. He looks the role. But offensively, I see more there than I think he's being given credit for. It looks like he can score around the basket with either hand. It looks like there's some good raw materials there to work with. So I thought that was really a good get at a time when they needed some good news there. And then the visit over the weekend from Tevian Jones. We haven't heard much from them. By all accounts, it was a good visit. The people that turned out at Ubben, helped present him with a feeling of being wanted. So hopefully we'll hear some more there. LaRon Black, we just haven't heard anything officially there. And there's no reason to. There's no urgency. He's got until a little bit into April before he has to declare for the NBA draft, which I would just think is a process you want to go through, even if in the back of your mind it's more likely you would play overseas. You still want to go through that process if you can and get some evaluation. And I think the coaching staff has surely tried to convince him, don't hire an agent. Don't do anything that destroys a path back to college basketball should you decide you want to do that. If you don't, if financially this is just something you feel like you need to do, okay, get it. But I don't, and then he'll have until June to withdraw. So I don't expect anything to happen right away. It's possible he could explain himself. But And then we still haven't heard from others. We haven't heard from Michael Finke. We haven't heard from Tijon Lucas, and so forth and so on there. But their recruiting will continue, and we'll see where they can get on a couple of other players. So there will be a men's basketball awards banquet in April. My understanding is the women are not going to have a banquet. That's what I was told yesterday. And then in football, I'll tell you what, it's been kind of interesting at spring practice in football. Part of it is watching the new coaches. Rod Smith, the offensive coordinator in particular, has been fun to watch, interesting. The pace of the offense, revving it up, hurrying between plays. I think we're just starting to see a bit of that. I don't think we have not seen the finished product of that, but hearing people talk about it, talk to Mikey Dudek about it, and he just said, for him, slot receiver, he said, I am like hurrying, man. I'm running through whatever play we're running, and then I'm running back to get ready for the next play, and you better get there quick because the next play's coming quick. And I take him at his word that this is going to move very quickly. And then watching Austin Clark, the new defensive line coach, 27 years old, watching him jump on the blocking sled and demonstrate things, you're not going to see that from a 50-year-old defensive line coach. And his enthusiasm is pretty clear. Guys seem to like him. They seem to have connected with him. And so we'll see where all that goes. And then, obviously, with one scholarship quarterback in camp, a lot of one-on-one time between Rod Smith and Cam Thomas. And, Cam does some things well, and then he doesn't do some things well. And one thing I kind of like on a daily basis hearing from Rod is he does not tolerate incompletions, especially when you're just throwing passes to offensive guys. When there's no defense involved, as he said, the ball should never be on the ground. And that isn't always the quarterback's fault. It could be a drop pass. But, he's letting guys hear about it if they do that. The expectation is that you will throw the ball on the money and that you will catch the ball. And that's been fun to watch. And now comes news that, we know already there's going to be 4 scholarship quarterbacks this summer with the 3 freshmen arriving, but now comes word that we're going to have a 5th one, and it's not a surprise that they're going to add a grad transfer, A.J. Bush, who started out at Nebraska, most recently played at Virginia Tech. Honestly, for a guy that's traveled around the way he has played very little. He didn't get to play at Nebraska, got caught in a coaching change between Bo Pelini and Mike Riley. Then Mike Riley went and got, who was it, Tanner Lee, the transfer from Tulane, and that kind of aced A.J. Bush out. Went to Virginia Tech, only got to play a little bit, was behind another guy who was getting most of the playing time there, and now we'll give this a try. I thought that it might be the Arizona kid because he had experience with Rod and comfort in that system. That won't be the case. But I don't think A.J. Bush is coming here to back anybody up. I think he's the starter next year unless he simply is a training camp bust. And I think they would be just fine resting and developing and growing all of those freshmen and Cam Thomas another year and then letting them go at it. Now, they leave the door open, of course, if the other one of the young quarterbacks is just a whirlwind in training camp, and oh my God, this guy's so good we can't keep him out. Okay, fine, then don't keep him out. Keep him in and keep him in the mix. I think that'd be wonderful. But barring that, I think the grad transfer is probably going to be the guy. And we'll see what he can do. This clearly, in watching him, the guy that's the quarterback of this offense is going to have to make quick decisions. He's going to have to think on the fly, and accuracy is going to be important. Now, they still want to run the ball a lot, and we'll see their full complement of running backs in August. We're not seeing them now. We're seeing Rayvon Bonner, though, now, and that's good because, remember, Rayvon finished the season on the bench because he had that concussion that kept him out for the final, third of the season. And Mike Epstein's not running with the ball this spring, and nor is Dre Brown. So, we're seeing a limited number of running backs right now. We're going to see a fuller roster. In fact, I think it's one of their deeper positions. The guy to keep an eye on is Jakari Norwood, a freshman who's really got a lot of speed. Might be the fastest guy on the team. I think he's definitely going to get some looks returning the ball. Could be used in some slot receiver situations. I mean, I think the one thing that Rod Smith talks about a lot that we didn't hear talked about enough in the past is let's get the ball into the hands of our playmakers and let's get it there in space. And that includes Mikey Dudek, that includes Ricky Smalling, that includes Jakari Norwood, that includes Carmoni Green, that includes, you know, anybody that fits that description of a potential playmaker. And one guy that I met Saturday who will definitely be that guy is Marquez Beeson, the wide receiver from Dallas Bishop Dunn High School, who was there with so many recruits Saturday. They had an open junior day, a ton of people there, and he committed on the spot. A four-star kid. His final four schools were LSU, Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Illinois. And basically, you know, he's a guy that loves Lovey. He's a guy that loves the idea of playing on a coaching staff that includes so much NFL experience, including Andrew Hayes Stoker, who helped recruit him. Lovey and Andrew, both Texans. That's the third kid out of there, and you know, more to come. In fact, his cousin, who is really good too, another wide receiver, was there. He's a year later. Marquez is a 19 kid. His cousin is a 20 kid, 2020. So, you know, the feeling Saturday was really positive in terms of Lovey and company turning the corner on recruiting and getting a higher caliber kid on campus, getting more of them, quantity and quality. And you know, they've got to just turn the corner now on winning some football games, because once you get that in your recruiting arsenal, where you can show them examples of here's how it works against a Big Ten team and so forth, that's when you can start to really make headway. And but getting a commitment at the front end of this recruiting class, this 2019 recruiting class, was huge. Now you can take that kid's commitment to other kids and say, look who's coming. This is the kind of kid that's coming. And you can build on that. So, you know, I think the news from football has been largely positive. The offensive line's the best looking offensive line I've seen at Illinois in a number of years. They're still thin on numbers. They don't have depth. They need depth. If you lose a kid, you can't plug in a kid of similar ability at very many positions. And you've got to solve the quarterback problem, you know. But we saw a couple things this week that point in those directions. And, you know, we'll see where it goes for the rest of spring. That's all. Have fun watching the NCAA tournament. I'll flip the phone around and show you Elfie running off into the wild blue yonder. Hopefully you can see her there. And she's going. And have a great week, everybody. And we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Thanks a bunch. Bye.